সুপ্রিয় দর্শক মণ্ডলী, বিজ্ঞাপন বিরতির পর আবারও ফিরলাম ড্যান লোর সাথে। ড্যান, so we were at pre-qual and pre-approval.
First step.
First step. Then, once you give the pre-approval, pre-qual, they choose a house. They like a house.
That's your
They-
job. That's
yeah,
your
that's my
help them
job.
find the dream home or find the.
I find their living home or dream home, and then I bring them to you. Or the clients comes and meets you.
Right.
What do you do as a loan officer after that?
Well, we work together first of all,
Yes.
right? We find the right budget, so it's the right neighborhood, schooling. You find the ideal situation for them. We're just money,
Okay.
right? Just the budget part. So
So you are processing the application.
you get a accepted offer.
Yes.
Great. You come to me like, hey, I need a loan now. Like, well, you have to sign the contract. You're not officially going to get the house until the seller. You might have signed it yourself, but the seller has to sign it as well.
Yes.
Once everyone's there, you have a fully executed contract.
Fully executed. Very important for loan process.
You also have to know the time limit.
Time limit. Beautiful.
In New York, it takes a little bit longer than everywhere else in the U.S. Everywhere else in the U.S., time limit, 30 days. You got to do it. You're running to the finish line. New York, typically you see about what, 45, 60
Yeah, 40,
days?
45 days, 60 days. 45 to 60 days, you have to get a commitment.
And that's not saying you can take it easier.
Uh-huh.
It's just things in New York take a little bit longer. We have more complicated title, and that brings to what my job is not only do I just get you approved, I also had to pay quarterback. I coordinate with insurance company, title company, the attorneys, and make sure everybody is on communicating. So there's nothing worse than emails getting sent out and nobody answering them.
You
So-
call them? Most of the time you call them?
Usually we're pretty good communication, really, I work with great people most of the time. If they don't pick up, if, they know me, I'm working all the time, they call me late at
All the
night, I
time.
call them late at night. We have a good relationship. So that's really good to have good communication skills between all these parties. So how do you approve a loan? There's 5 main parts that you need to do.
Let's hear.
So 2 parts are 100% the borrower, the buyer, your clients. And that's your assets and your income. So we have to get the income docs. A lot of people have variable income, meaning you work
Change, yeah.
30 hours this week, 40 hours this week, overtime, bonuses, commission, tips.
Basically,
types of
we can
jobs.
say not a salaried employee.
Even salaried employees
Yeah.
have bonuses,
Yes, it
overtime.
changes.
Yeah, you can have a police officer salaried and loads of overtime in 2023,
Yeah, it's huge.
and you have to go to the subways, and there's a lot of difference. So that's one part is income.
Okay, the second
Another
part?
one is assets.
Assets.
A lot of our clients have gifts.
Yeah.
They're with family. They go to their loved ones, their community, and say, hey, I'm buying a house. Can you help me with a gift to help my family purchase our first home?
Is there a limit on the gift check?
Some places will, depends on the loan. Generally in what we'd say qualified mortgages, which is conventional, FHA, VA, there is pretty much no limit. There is always a caveat for reserves. A reserve is money left over. After some loans, they'll let you have $0, 1 cent in your bank account after you complete it. Some loans, they say, no, we don't feel safe with that. We want you to have
6 months?
6 months, sometimes 2 months. So if your mortgage payment is $2,000, they want you to have $4,000, or 6 months would be $12,000 left over in your bank account. If you own 3 homes, they might say, I want 2 of each home and 6 of this home. So every person is different, every scenario is different. But sometimes you need that, and those cannot come from gifts. So gifts generally for your regular conventional FHA, almost everything can come from gifts. Closing costs, down payment.
Wow.
It's pretty powerful. And that's useful a lot of times if someone's unlendable. So you had a bankruptcy, you had a business, something went terribly wrong, maybe it's a divorce or something, and you're unlendable. You have the money for you and your family to do it. It's in your bank account. You lend it to your wife. right? Or you lend it to your husband. You saved up a lot, something, you never got a credit card. You never had credit. It's amazing. Sometimes people are in the country for, I think the longest I ever had was 50 years
Wow.
in the US. Never had a credit card, no credit.
50 years.
50 years. I think it's a family, father and 2 sons. Father, Social Security, everything, pays everything on time. No FICO score, no credit score, because never played the game of, hey, I want to.
The system.
The system, yeah. The FICO system is how good are you at repaying debt. If you never had debt,
How are you going to pay?
yes,
There's no question to pay.
there's no history. There's no report card of you paying back debt. And this is a mortgage. It's very serious. It's 30 years. You're paying back something 30 years. So some people have very short credit. So I'm getting too far away from our 5 points.
Yeah,
I want to
so-
go back. So we have income,
Assets.
and those are the main 2 that
Then
you're responsible for. So that's in your control.
the third one.
The other third one is your home value. It's called an appraisal. The bank is no idea about
What do
the
you
value
buy?
of your home.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you know way better than me. I just go into a computer and say, oh, your house is somewhere in this range. You know pretty much to the 5,000s of what a home should be worth. You're so keyed in on if someone is overpaying or underpaying for a home. And so that's what the job of an appraiser is. The bank wants to know that you're buying $1 million home is not worth actually $500,000.
So basically, the appraisal company, they want to make sure that the house under contract, or the house you processing the loan, the value of that contract price and the appraisal price is matching.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
The bank wants to do that. The appraisals company is their job to prove
Just get the value.
other places in that area sold for a similar
Yeah.
price, good market value. Exactly. So the bank has no idea about houses. They don't care. They just want their money paid back. They're just a lender. So the appraiser company is, their job is to do this for the bank. So they get hired by you. You pay for the appraiser because you want the loan to buy this house for your family, right? So like, what's wrong? I'm paying $700,000 for the home. They should just lend me. Like the bank doesn't know that, right? So that usually takes about a week. So from when you're in contract, you need to have a fully executed contract because the appraiser goes through the contract, takes things into consideration on the contract, and they go and visit a home and they see square footage, things like that, and they compare it to other places.
Can I share something?
Yes, please.
So as a realtor, every appraisal, what I do, I prepare a package for all the sold properties.
It's because you're a good realtor.
Yeah. And then what's on the market, and so the sold value is pretty much for the last 6 months. It helps you to get the accurate value.
And you have
'Cause-
so many tools,
Yes.
not just your experience, not just because you know the streets and everything. You have immense tools at your
Absolutely.
disposal as a real estate salesperson and a broker, even more so. That's why, unless I'm buying the house right next door to me, I don't want to overpay for a house. Why not get a real estate agent, especially your first-time home buyer? What do you know?
Yes, exactly.
If you have 3 investment properties, you flipped 6. Okay, you probably know what you're doing better
But for
than.
the first time, I mean, you have no clue.
Yeah, even the second time, a different neighborhood, you need an expert. You need an expert for that. So they're there to advise you, but the appraiser is there to get that value for the bank. And what happens if it comes up short, right? You're buying a home for $700, it comes in at $690. You need to come out with $10,000 somewhere. So that would come back. We say, hey, Dan, I don't have $10,000. I need to somehow make the loan work. I need a bigger loan to make up the difference. Or sometimes you do. Like, oh, it's in my back pocket. Let me get.
That's why we have mortgage contingency and appraisal contingencies. As a realtor, when you first sign the contract, you got to put this thing. Because if the price value is less than the contract value, you can put a clause that the seller has to adjust it, or most cases, they take half and half.
So you want somebody like that who's very good at dealing and making good negotiations, because you also don't want to be
losing the house.
Yeah, well, not just losing the house, but you're in a contract or you're going to lose your deposit.
Yes.
Because you made too aggressive an offer for a house that's doesn't have the value. So you're someone that has really good knowledge of the value of the home. That's going to help you a lot, especially in the environment we're in now, where everything is so competitive. There's not many houses, especially great houses. Like those are like a lot down the block, right? So we have 3 things down now. We have 2 more.
Yeah, 2 more.
One, it has to do with your attorney, right? They, not them, but they usually work very closely with a title company.
Yes.
So the title company makes sure that, I don't know if you're 20 years ago, a lot of straw buyers, straw sellers, fake sellers, they say, hey, I have a
still
key.
People tries.
So people, yeah,
You know,
it's
fake
amazing.
deal, fake title.
Amazing. With so much technology here, they can still say, hey, I got a key to this house, $100,000, you want to buy it? And you go to the house, 10 people bought the same house. So this is the nightmare that no longer exists thanks to title companies. They make sure that the deed, which is a piece of paper, right, with your name on it, is a clean deed. And your home might not be worth the same price that you're buying it for if it has encumbrances, if it has violations. It could be many other
It
things.
could be open permit too. You know, they've got a permit, they never closed it, and it's still sitting.
Yeah.
So many things can happen. That's why this program is. Like, we want our consumers to know every single steps on home buying and selling process.
That's the best way, so they can go-
that's why this program is for. You know, so they can repeat our programs over and over and get so much knowledge. And knowledge is power. Without knowledge, you can't do anything. You want to buy a house, go with confident. Go with having knowledge. And take expert services, expert partner with you who can guide you. Because it's your hard-earned money. You have to protect it. We cannot protect it unless you reach out to us, right, Dad?
Absolutely, absolutely. You need expert guidance. It's not just. So do you want to do the last point?
Yeah.
Last point is insurance. So you need about 3 days something to get a quote. You want to get a couple quotes. So same thing. You have a mortgage expert. You want to have an insurance expert. Protect your home, your investment.
Absolutely.
And protect your belongings. I know some people have their wardrobe is worth about half the house, right? Their wardrobe is all diamonds. And I was like, so, you know, some people don't have a single thing. They've been living in a basement or like small, tiny apartment. They don't have many belongings. They don't need as much protection for their belongings. And some people, like I said, they have like cars that are worth like more cars than they have houses, and they need to protect all of it. So those are the 5 things. You have that need approval. The insurance, because we don't want lightning or fire to hit your home, and the bank, the lender, doesn't want their investment of $700,000 to be worth $0, a burning pile of smoke.
So
one day.
So these are the 5
things, and you pretty much clear these 5 things. It's title, make sure there's no encumbrances, make sure it's all clean. The property is worth its full value that we expect it to be. We have the appraisal, same thing. We're not overpaying for something or getting too much value. The insurance, protecting your asset and your investment.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well said.
Your assets, to make sure, I basically joke around, the U.S. doesn't want you using drug money or terrorist money to buy the home. They want to make sure it's been in your account. And the last thing is your income, your ability to repay and your ability to afford the loan.
How about the role of underwriter? Let's share a little bit the role of underwriter.
So different lenders are have different access to underwriters. You're not really supposed to talk to them and encourage them. It's supposed to be very independent.
Very independent.
And their job is to follow 5 billion rules and check off every single thing. So if you put a bank statement, they have to look at every single line. If you give a IRS thing, they look at every single, way more than I do, because their rule book is down to a T, and their performance is based on that. And they're checking off all these 5 things. So you have income documents, they're looking at your pay stubs, your W-2. If there's a variance, they're going to ask why. Right? If it goes above 5%, like why did you do? Oh, you had maternity leave. You got a promotion. You mandatory overtime. Right? You're not allowed overtime anymore. right? Or you got a new job. So they're going to be asking you questions on that. If you're assets, they might ask you, oh, where did this money come from? Oh, it was cash. I just deposited. Like, nope, no good, no good, right? So, and then if you get gifts, they want proof that they're your family. They're giving it to you. It's not a loan. Right? If you're cashing in your retirement fund, they want to know, was this a loan or did you withdraw it and it was fully your money? If it was a loan from your retirement, they're going to have to put that part of your ability to repay. Same thing, you took some money out from a friend to put as a down payment, they have to calculate it towards your ability to repay. Title, I don't know how they do it. I mean, those attorneys, there's millions of pages.
They're a title company, The most important part with the title is you don't want any cloud, any gap on the title. That's why there's a title insurance, and that covers it,
But the underwriter has to read through all those pages. So that's part of their job, right? They have to comb through everything, and that's
So you simplified the whole process. Your role,
yes,
in the business.
So I fight for you. If you have, let's say, maternity leave, and they're asking, hey, how come your income is so low? Oh, you got maternity leave. You got this. I'm there to explain it to them and basically hammer it into them and say, no, they have the right income. We calculated it already.
So you do a great job. I mean, I hear from a lot of people when we have clients that you close the loan, it's like pain-free, So let's talk about few programs like FHA. What's the criteria like? What guideline you have to follow?
FHA is a government guaranteed loan, which is great because lenders have no risk. They have a fund where there's an insurance built into the loan. All FHA, I'm sure you know, have insurance built into it. So you're
guaranteed.
You're known. Everyone knows PMI. It's a very common term. If you don't have 20% down, you pay PMI. Okay. It gets dragged through the mud. I don't think PMI is that bad, but for FHA, it's called MIP. Pretty much the same thing. And it's really great if you're a high-risk loan. That's my take on it, is if you have lower credit, certain issues with your debt, your DTI, they're very forgiving.
But to qualify.
They want to make sure that you're living in a good home. So some realtors have I don't think it's a right intention that they think FHA is very difficult. It's actually very easy. The only thing they're a little bit more stringent on, in terms of, from your point of view, is their appraisals. They want to make sure that the home is in good living condition for you and your family. So very little things like chip paint. They want to make sure that there's no lead paint going into your lungs and affecting your family. Same thing with a VA loan. They want their VAs to be living in a great home.
You see, everything is to have a good living and safe living. Those guidelines helps you as a
and you want that for your family.
Absolutely.
Who wouldn't want that?
Absolutely. How about QM and non-QM?
So qualified mortgages is QM, and non-qualified mortgages is non-QM. And there are two buckets. So the VA, FHA, conventional, and I do very little USDA, which is kind of farmland rural. So those are the qualified mortgages. They go completely based on your tax file or your W-2s, whatever you're showing on your pay stubs. Non-QM is it's a little special. So you can have, for example, someone who's not legally living here, ITINs. So you're paying taxes, but you're not a U.S. citizen, you don't have a legal status here. Sometimes you're living here for 20 years. How can you not, I want to buy a house. Some of these people are very successful. And this is a bucket that you can buy a house in. Another one would be you have a business, right? This is a lot of us. You're self-employed or you have a business. You're making an income, but you don't want to pay taxes. Who wants it? Your CPA is there to protect you. Your accountant is there to protect you from paying too much in taxes. They're helping you report expenses, get deductions. But then when you go to get a loan, they're look at how much you're earning, and they say, oh, you made $1 million, but you reported $999,999 in expenses. You made $1 last year. You made $1. So you're oh, and you look at the tax return, oh, you made $1 last year. You're trying to buy a house. The qualified mortgage is going to look at, you don't have any income. You have made $1. So you and I know that a lot of businesses make a lot of money. They just don't want to show it, right? So that's a big bucket of QM, which I do a lot. Non-QM is business owner, self-employed, can be anywhere from very common like taxi and Uber, Lyft, those taxi operators, to, oh my God, like import exporters where their bank accounts see millions of dollars come in and out.
Yes.
And restaurants.
Restaurant.
Restaurants, high payroll. You pay a lot of payroll, but a lot of money comes in. They like that. They know
Dan,
that you're making a lot of money.
You know, if we talk, we can talk all night because you're an expert in mortgage, I'm an expert in real estate. But this program has times, right? So the director is telling me my time is up, right? And you know, time
We thank
and
him for his
tide,
time. Thank you for
time
his
and tide wait for none. So we're going to sit next month and talk very details about other mortgage products. So if you have anything to say to my audience.
Yeah, we want to help you get more knowledge. Our goal is to make you kind of our friends, our family, so that same thing with your clients. They're kind of your family. We want them as educated as possible so that when you're ready to step up to the plate, you're there at confidence. You're like, I have a good credit score. I have a good income. I'm ready for this mortgage. I can compete with all the other people out there. So we probably want you to interact with us, respond back to us, give us questions.
Yes. You can share your number for our audience.
My number is 917-403-9344. I work all the time. So it's not just because it's the weekend doesn't mean I'm not answering the phone. Text messages if we're busy. We're always on the phone. Maybe to each other.
Yes.
Maybe to the community we serve and to our clients, because we're trying to help as many people as we
Yes.
can. So if you have questions, we want to be able to help you.
So thank you, Dan. I know it's very
Pleasure.
cold outside, and you made it after a long day work. I truly appreciate for coming and inspiring my audience and my show. And we'll talk again soon.
Congratulations again in your brokerage.
Thank you.
It's going to be such a success in promoting everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, টাইম অ্যান্ড টাইড ওয়েট ফর নান, সময় শেষ। আজকের জন্য অনুষ্ঠানটি এখানেই শেষ করতে হবে, কিন্তু আগামীতে আবার আমরা ড্যান লোর সাথে কথা বলবো এবং আরও বিস্তারিত জানবো। আমরা আমাদের হোম ওনারশিপ, উই ওয়ান এ ভেরি পেইন ফ্রি প্রসেস, অ্যান্ড ড্যান অ্যান্ড আই উই গোনা ডু মোর শোজ অ্যান্ড উই গোনা শেয়ার মোর প্রসেস অ্যান্ড হেল্প অ্যাজ মেনি পিপল অ্যাজ উই ক্যান। ভালো থাকেন, আবার দেখা হবে। শুভরাত্রি।